2, I think, get into the mood. It's a sort of solemn. It's a solemn thing by Chester A. Arthur. And it was done at the city of Washington the 22nd day of September A.D. 1881, and of independence of the United States of America, the 106th.
Whereas in his inscrutable...
It's a proclamation.
By the President of the United States of America, a proclamation, I'll have you know. Whereas in his inscrutable wisdom, it has pleased God to remove...
And the rest is our edition. This next sentence, I'll read that. By assassination by a, quote, disappointed office seeker.
From us, the illustrious head of the nation, James A. Garfield, late President of the United States, and whereas it is fitting that the deep grief with which fills all hearts should manifest with one accord toward the throne of infinite grace, and that we should bow before the Almighty and seek from him that consolation in our affliction and that sanctification of our loss which he is able and willing to vouchsafe. Now, therefore, in obedience to sacred duty and in accordance with the desire of the people, I, Chester A. Arthur, President of the United States of America, do hereby appoint Monday next, the 26th day of September, on which day the remains of our honored and beloved dead will be consigned to their last resting place on earth, to be observed throughout the United States as an act of humiliation and mourning. And I earnestly recommend all the people to assemble on that day in their respective places of divine worship, where they're to render alike the tribute of sorrowful submission to the will of Almighty God and of reverence and love for the memory and character of our late Chief Magistrate, in witness whereof I have here to set my hand and cause the seal of the United States to be affixed, done at the city of Washington, the 22nd day of September, A.D. 1881, and of independence of the United States of America.
And I didn't realize...
The 106th, I beg your pardon. I'm Chester A. Arthur. I don't like to be interrupted.
And I didn't realize the appropriateness of...
You'll just wait your turn.
This is the 20th.
When I'm done speaking, then
James
you can tell what date it is. Why must you stand between...
Please, you've got to honor the dead. Honor the dead. James A. Garfield, the assassinee.
I'm the president. I won't be
James A. Garfield, the assassinee, to whom the above referred, wrote...
Off with his coat.
It said, the president's the last person in the world to know what the people really want to think.
And that was said
by the assassinee.
James A. Garfield.
Yeah.
Speaking of what the people really want and think, this is WBAI New York.
I used to know a song about him, Garfield. Well, they've shot Mr. Garfield and left him mighty low. Well, his wife, she run up and she picked up his head and her hands, and she looked down to him and she said, Mr. Garfield, that's what she called him. She didn't call him John. She called him Mr. Garfield. What shall I do? Shall I marry again? And he looked up at her and he said, don't you never let a chance go by.
And
know that rendition. That's by Basker Lammer Lunsford
That's right. That's right.
with his banjo. Yeah.
Who wants to do the polygamy one? Volunteer.
Well, of course, it's everyone's fantasy to do it, but to sustain it is almost impossible emotionally and physically and financially.
All right, I'll do it then.
Okay, you do
Since
it.
everyone wants to do it. This is by Rutherford B. Hayes, another Harvard Law School graduate. State of the Union Address, 1880. It is the recognized duty and purpose of the people of the United States to suppress polygamy where it now exists in our territories and to prevent its extension. The Mormon sectarian organization which upholds polygamy has the whole power of making and executing the local legislation of the territory of Utah. It is not a case for halfway measures. The sanctity of marriage and the family relation are the cornerstone of our American society and civilization.
Wait a minute. That's an interjection.
What?
He didn't say that.
No.
You did.
If he
You
interjected,
did.
he would have used the condom.
You did. And
They were invented then. French letter, they were called, in England.
Besides, it
in
was
France, they were called
scarlet
the English
fever
letter.
on those blankets, not syphilis. It was scarlet fever on the blankets.
Look, you say civilization, I say civilization. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say potato, I say potato.
I don't understand what the fight's
tomato,
about.
potato. Let's call the whole thing off.
Let's pull. No.
Too boring. Okay, now let me continue. You want you know what happened? You know what happened to the Mormons? They're still doing it.
What?
But anyway, to reestablish, I think there's another sect though that believes in polyandry, which means one woman can have as many men as she wants. Okay. There's the.
I thought it always meant keeping a sunny point of view.
They're called the Namrams. Namrams. That's Mormon spelled backwards. The sanctity of marriage. We want no halfway measures. The sanctity of marriage and the family relation are the cornerstone of our American society and you said civilization. To reestablish the interests and principles which polygamy and Mormonism have imperiled, and to fully reopen to intelligent and virtuous immigrants of all parts of our domain, that's a great word, which has been in a great degree close to general immigration by intolerant and immoral institutions. It is, in other words, the people of Utah not to determine what they themselves want. It is recommended that the government of the territory of Utah be reorganized. U.S. Grant. I think he had other names, but I think he liked to use the U.S. part of it.
I know of no method to secure the repeal of bad or obnoxious laws so effective as their stringent execution.
And
Ulysses S. Grant said that.
Andrew
about the drug war of his day. Actually, all war is really a drag, you know.
Who wants to do Andrew Johnson?
Well, this is at the third annual message to Congress, December 3rd, 1867. The peculiar qualities which should characterize any people who are fit to decide upon the management of public affairs for a great state have seldom been combined. It is the glory of white men to know that they have had these qualities in sufficient measure.
Wait, does that include Jews?
He doesn't say.
I said white men.
Were Jews around? Yeah, I guess. It is the glory of white men
Sit down, Noseberg, whatever your name is.
to know that they have had these qualities in sufficient measure to build upon this continent a great political fabric and to preserve its stability for more than 90 years, while in every part of the world all similar experiments have failed. But if anything can be proved by known facts, if all reasoning upon evidence is not abandoned, it must be acknowledged that in the progress of nations, Negroes have shown less capacity for government than any other people. No independent government of any form has ever been successful in their hands. On the contrary, wherever they have been left to their own devices, they have shown a constant tendency to relapse into barbarism.
I guess that was before they discovered the high civilizations of West Africa and the low civilizations of Western Europe.
Oh, you've been all over, I guess, from here to Timbuktu, huh?
Mm-hmm. And that was a message to Congress. I wonder if I guess they got the message.
Then they try to impeach him.
Well,
Oh, no, that was...
I always sympathized with him.
No,
Maybe
no,
he should have been
that's what
impeached.
saved him, yeah.
Well, he was trying to make up when he said that.